Namaste, beloved. How are you? My name is Syma, and I am an international sacred feminine and spiritual coach, healer, and blessedly #1 bestselling author of the books Goddess Reclaimed and Manifest Soulmate Love. And it is my honor to support you today with some sacred feminine guidance and inspiration on one of my favorite topics, inspiration. When I'm working with my beloved clients and when I'm serving you through all these divinely inspired love offerings and services, one of the things that I'm most often asked is how I transformed my life. And so for those of you who followed my journey and are aware, I had to heal through a lot of childhood trauma where I experienced abuse in every form, physical, emotional, and sexual throughout my childhood, and just had really tough time in my teens as well, and suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. And then as I grew into adolescence, every part of my life was really a struggle and reflected that, even going into my 20s when I was working and continuing the patterns of bullying and abuse and toxic relationships, and really struggling with abundance and success. Relationships. So every part of my life had been a struggle for a long time. And one of my most honest and clear and straightforward answers about how I transform my life, #1 is divine grace. It's all because of the love of God, Goddess, the divine creator. And how I was able to receive that was by asking for divine help. Right? So there's an element definitely of prayer and connecting with the divine. But what the divine does when the divine, however you connect with the divine, whatever name you want to call it, how it helps us to transform our lives. And not only that, but live our best lives, right? Our most flourishing and abundant and beautiful lives. So not only was I able to heal everything, but I was able to then manifest my beloved soulmate, become just a whole, happy, flourishing woman myself, feel like a goddess, and then leave a toxic corporate career and have this practice where every day I feel so in awe and so grateful that I get to serve soulful, sensitive women all over the world who, struggling with similar things that I did, and share from my journey and my experience as a Reiki and yoga and other spiritual coaching and healing modalities that I've learned along the way to support them, right? But how I was able to turn everything around and not just heal my life, but now support and empower my fellow sisters in doing the same for themselves, was divine inspiration. Inspiration is how God answers our prayers. It is how we are ignited with that divine spark of inspiration. And it's when we can transcend the small thinking that our human mind puts us through and will say this is the limit of what you can achieve or what you can desire or what you can want or have. When we are inspired, we are in spirit. So in spirit is in the word inspiration, right? Inspiritation. Being inspired, my loves, is when we are filled with the light of God, the vision of God, Goddess, or the divine. Now again, whenever I use these sacred terms, I invite you to incorporate them in whatever way resonates with you. Even if you don't believe in any of that, you can think of it as your own higher self or your own wisdom or the universe or whatever works for you. So inspiration is how we connect with the divine or higher self's vision of what is possible for us. And we are elevated beyond what we could think or want for ourselves. Now, because I'm a sacred feminine coach, I would love to share with you some beautiful goddesses that can support you in feeling more inspired and being more inspired and living an inspired life, following your inspiration so that you can transform your life, so you can live your best life, so you can really flourish in every way, because that's what my work is to help you to flourish in every way. So the first goddess that I would love to share with you is from the Indian and Hindu Vedic tradition, and her name is Saraswati. So Saraswati is a beautiful goddess of divine inspiration, art, poetry, and divine knowledge. She will help you to put soul into your goal. And you can see behind me I have a beautiful image of Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the Indian goddess of abundance and wealth and love and beauty and worldly material success and riches. And those are as sacred, right? So one thing I love about being on this goddess path is we don't denounce material good and riches and joys that are here on earth, because earth is the mother goddess, Gaia, Mother Earth, and the physical body, our bodies, you know, we are divine manifestations of God, Goddess, embodiments of the divine, so everything physical is also sacred. However, we tend sometimes in our lives to focus on Lakshmi, who represents the outer manifestations of our desires. And there's this beautiful story that those who chase after Lakshmi will always find Lakshmi elusive. So Lakshmi representing success or wealth, material good. And if we only go from this almost hollow place of wanting and getting and wanting to achieve and acquire and accumulate and accomplish, and there's no soul behind our goal, or no divine sacred inspiration behind our intention for these things, then we might find that we're really struggling, or that even if we get these things, they're not fulfilling, and we keep going for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and it's never quite enough. So that struggle represents Lakshmi being elusive when we are just focused on it without inspiration, without connecting to our divine spirits. But then the other part of that story goes that those who dedicate themselves to the goddess Saraswati, the goddess of divine knowledge and enlightenment and spiritual ascension and inspiration and getting to know yourself, your true self, returning home to you, right, your soul on earth, then Lakshmi, it is said that she gets jealous and she will then follow them around and bestow her boons and blessings upon them. So what does this mean for us, right? Because so many of these beautiful religious and mythical stories are there to inspire us. And the inspiration behind this story is that instead of sometimes focusing on what we think we want and getting and doing and struggling and striving and accomplishing and achieving, when we switch our focus back to our spirit, we pray and we connect with the divine and we ask, what would you have me do? What would my soul have me focus on? How can I serve? We are given divine inspiration as a blessing of Saraswati, right? So she represents, as the goddess of inspiration, the muse, divine knowledge and enlightenment, us connecting with our soul and putting soul behind your goal. And then what happens is whatever you're guided to create, there is spirit running through it, right? Because you're inspired, you're in spirit. And everything, just the process of manifesting and co-creating your desires becomes so joyful and a spiritual journey as much as it is a worldly journey. So it's so beautiful to be inspired. This is how I am in every part of my life, but especially, for example, in my business. I never had a business plan for my coaching and healing practice. I never every year, have projections, or I don't even know what those terms are, to be honest. And what I do is I always go to spirit first. Father, Mother, God, I offer myself to you. What would you have me do? And I know that I will be inspired by a vision. So this is how I created my book, Goddess Reclaimed, and Manifest Soulmate Love, and how I create my website, or any post that I might share on Instagram, every video I create, this video, it's all divinely inspired. That's another reason why my schedule for videos is sporadic. The business part says have an editorial calendar and schedule in your topics for the year and make your video according to that calendar every week or 2 weeks, and I can't do that. I can only serve you authentically, right? And I can only be authentic when I'm inspired. So that's why I hope and I trust that those of you who resonate with my videos and what I share and teach, you feel my own spirit, right? We're connecting soul to soul. And lo and behold, so much abundance, so much support, so much beautiful success and appreciation, and getting to serve women all over the world. You know, books becoming #1 in their categories on Amazon, and just constantly receiving beautiful golden opportunities from Lakshmi Ma, who brings these opportunities to me because I receive and turn to Saraswati, my spirit, for inspiration. So this is this beautiful marriage of these different divine feminine aspects within ourselves, this alchemy. I'm going to get to alchemy in a minute as well. The other goddesses that can inspire you are known as the Muses. So the Muses, we know them from Greek mythology, but actually they are much more ancient goddesses. They are most likely nature or wilderness-based goddesses with their origins, and they were most likely one single muse goddess, but then as Greek mythology evolved, they became multiples, they became 9 goddesses. 9 too is a sacred feminine number because it's a triple of 3, and 3 represents the triple goddess aspect of the maiden, the mother, and the crone. But the Muses are that part of us that is ignited and inspired through beauty and art in every form. So think of the words like amusement. This is when we light up with laughter and joy. Music, museums, right? So the Muses are in all these beautiful manifestations of spirit. They inspire us, right? To express the divine as we are lit up with this inspiration, as we see these visions. And so one way that you can connect with the Muses is really by just soaking up what inspires you, whether it's music or going to a museum or you know, watching something that makes you laugh. It's a really beautiful way to lighten up your energy so that you can receive inspiration. And I also want to share with Saraswati, you can connect with her through meditation. That's one of the most simple and yet powerful and essential ways to receive your inspiration, is sit and get quiet, right? Forget everything your mind is saying, forget the limits that it's imposing on you, what's possible for you, what you should do, or what makes sense. In spirit comes from spirit. It doesn't make sense. It's divine, right? It's limitless. So you then want to follow your intuition to take inspired action, right? To co-create things one step at a time, but there's no limit. And if you want to go deeper with Saraswati, my loves, I am hosting an online goddess circle, which is like this beautiful workshop where we go much deeper into Saraswati, including meditating directly with her and receiving inspiration for your next steps on your life. And I'll leave a link for you for her. Okay, just wanted to make sure I'm giving you something practical with each of these goddess archetypes that I'm sharing with you. So yeah, I hope with Saraswati and the Muses so far, you are just already feeling this connection or reconnection with divine inspiration. I keep pulling up my sari because in honor of Saraswati, I'm wearing something from my tradition, a beautiful sari shawl that I have because it just connects me and it inspired me. The final goddess I would love to share with you, my loves, is the Celtic goddess Bridget. So here you can see her concocting this beautiful alchemical mix in this cauldron of inspiration. Bridget is the Celtic triple goddess as well of the sacred flame. She was born with a flame ascending from her head. I have an entire chapter, a gateway dedicated to her in my book, Goddess Reclaimed. I've done a circle on her. I could do a whole course. We could spend a year connecting with the goddess Bridget because she's a multi-functioning goddess. She's also a healer, a magician, a sorceress, a wise woman. But in this aspect, we're going to connect with her as the patron, the inspirer, the muse for poets and artists and craft, so anything creative. Now, oftentimes we get the inspiration, but then we're afraid to take action. So Bridget is going to light up that fire. So if you think of these goddesses I've shared so far, Saraswati is up here. She's more spirit, meditation, third eye, crown chakra is where, you know, her energy would be more active. The Muses would be more in your heart and your sacral for just that beautiful, sensual, earthly inspiration. And then Bridget comes to you at your root to keep you really grounded and courageous, because she's also has that warrior goddess aspect and connected to alchemy, turning lead into gold. So very earthy in that sense. But her dominant chakra would be your solar plexus, which is your power center. So when we are really ignited with our own divine flame, we have that fire inside of our belly. So this is what Bridget can help you with. And that fire can transmute lead into gold, as in your limitations, your small expectations for yourself, or what's possible for you, and your ideas of, you know, who you are and what you do. She can completely transform and transmute that. She, as in your own divine flame, your inner divine fire. If you surrender to it, it can ignite and transmute that and reveal to you who you are, this divine spark embodied, right? And then from that, you turn lead into gold. You'll turn, you know, like I did, my most painful life experiences of trauma and depression, I blessedly, through my healing journey, through following my inspiration and my intuition, my divine guidance, through definitely and completely, ultimately, divine grace, was able to transform those really dark experiences into this light that I can share with you, right? Into hopefully this inspiration and tools or teachings or, you know, these beautiful practices that have transformed my life. It's my mission to share them with you, right? So that's one way that you can see how can you take your own life experiences in your journey and experience that divine transformation, and then create blessings and gifts to the world that first and foremost inspire you, right? So when I do my work, yes, I'm so dedicated to being of service, but at the same time, I don't make it my mission to be a helper or a healer. I first and foremost do as I am inspired, by being true to myself, right? And I'm grateful that I feel inspired by serving you. But when we really reconnect with our souls, because our souls are infinite love and compassion and loving kindness, we will naturally be inspired to support and serve our beloved sisters and brothers, right? And our children and our animals and our earth and whatever cause we feel guided to. So if you have had something that you feel inspired to do, but you think it's your imagination or it's fantasy or dreams, please don't discount that. Invite in these goddesses. So your next step that I can invite you to do is sit in meditation. And if you're comfortable, if you connect with them, these goddesses, you can connect with them as deities if you wish, or as sacred feminine aspects of yourself. And you can do this if you're a man, woman, atheist, or religious, doesn't matter, right? As long as you can find a way to make it work for you and it resonates with you, you can invoke these divine, sacred, feminine powers to ask, what is my next step? What do I need to know? Fill me with divine inspiration. And trust me, you will be flooded with a vision or a sound or a feeling or an inner knowing of something that will light you up. And so that will be your hint. That will be the message from the divine, is what ignites you, what lights you up. What is it that when you put aside all your the rationalizing out of it, right, and the worries and concerns about the how, but just put that aside for a moment and allow spirit to take over and be in spirit and inspired, you will be touched by this divine grace. And I promise you, if you take that time to connect with your spirit through daily meditation or time in nature or whatever works for you, you will be given every single step you need, and you will be supported infinitely by the universe in following your inspiration. And following inspiration will create that Lakshmi in your life, the flourishing and the abundance of every form. So I hope this has inspired you. I do have a circle on Bridget if you want to go deeper with her. I've also written about her in my book, so those links I'll leave for you if you feel inspired to go deeper with me, with these goddesses. But I'm feeling inspired. I hope you're feeling inspired, and I hope you will honor your divine inspiration. So let me know in the comments below what you're feeling inspired to do as you connect with these sacred feminine aspects of yourself and invite in these goddesses of inspiration. And if you'd like to receive more divine inspiration and tools from me, you can visit me at flourishinggoddess.com, where I offer a beautiful video training. Again, I was really inspired to create that for you, a beautiful goddess meditation, lots of juicy, luscious, feminine, gifts to inspire and ignite and empower you, my love. So I hope this served you. I am at your service. My sari is hinting the end of this, so thank you so much. I'm sending you all my love. Namaste.